No, sorry, folks. Just getting all set up here. Let me know if you folks can see and hear me both between Zoom and YouTube. You can let me know in the chat panel. All right, perfect. Excellent, excellent. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. All right, so we can start going here. We can start this off more as a Q&A here from both sides, Zoom and YouTube. If we start to fill up, then maybe I'll take it in a specific direction. But for now, while it's just a few of us, we'll just go open forum. I'm going to give it another 2 or 3 minutes to see how many people come in. There's over 100 signups for Zoom. But if the trend stays the way it is, it'll be about 5 to 8 of you. And if that's the case, I'll enable mics in Zoom and we'll go like that. For those of you that are on the YouTube side of things, if you would like to join us in Zoom, here is a link for that coming at you now. Michael, how are you? There we go. So there's a Zoom link for that. Pop out that chat and close that, close that. So like I said, again, we'll do this as an open forum. All right. So fire some questions for me here, folks. All right, question 1 coming in. Typing out a reply here. How to find intraday trading opportunities for options? What are key differences of TI compared to other platforms like Benzinga, Thinkorswim, and all that? So the only thing that I know, the one big difference I can say between us and everybody else is our real-time alerts. So let me pull out a window here. I'm going to load something. And we have, time-stamped alerts in real time. I'm not using an alert window currently. Find this parabolic scan that I created. All right, so this scan here, it alerted this stock CYN at 2:33 and 12 seconds. Now that's the last alert that would have came through here in this scan. And I play the history on it over the last couple of weeks. I found some stuff where it's like really catching stuff right towards the top for great shorting opportunities. And it is finding some stuff as it's moving up as well. So we can run the history of that and go to all. Now so it's kind of like a two-form question here, two-part question that you're asking. As far as options goes, we have pretty limited options choices here. If I go into the configure of a scan options, we can scan for a put call ratio. We can tell you options volume as in the contracts. Today, how they relate to the average contract over the last 10 days of the stock, the actual number of options contracts today per stock, the put volume on it, the call volume, and then the options volume today. That's going to be just the overall options volume as a percent of 10-day average. And so you could turn around and build a scan with any or all of these metrics, and then you can turn around into your broker and take a look at what contracts are for you to try to get filled and strike prices and things like that. We don't have strike prices. We don't tell you what options contracts are actually trading, anything like that. So it's more geared towards scanning the underlying stocks, and then from there you can have a look in your broker at what you're doing. So so that's like I said, two-part question. So like I said, in this scan, we can see all these alerts that came in here today, and I can set a function in it. In history, it's going to show me every alert, even if it repeated an alert a bunch of times. I can set it so when it's in real time, it only shows it to me, once every minute, once every 5 minutes, once a day, so on and so forth, with a don't repeat function. But again, in the history function, it will show me all the alerts that happened during the day on that. And so, like I said, every one of these came in that have been real time, boom, time stamped, and that's what alert windows do. There's, 500 different data points to create an alert window from. There's nobody that uses all these data points whatsoever. I think a lot of people are running in between, let's say, 3 and 7 data points to create an alert window in general. The more data points you're using, and by data points, I mean alerts, which are an event. So in this particular one, new high is the event here. And then filters coupled with that new high is what's going on in here. So if we look in the configure, new high, so stock has to be making a new high on the day. And then while that's happening, it has to be at least above $2 in price, $2 or above, traded 125,000 shares on the day. It has to be up at least 6% over the last 15 minutes. And the 1 minute volume has to be doing 200% of normal 1 minute volume. And that's a 10-day average again. So that's saying it's doing 2 times its normal 1 day volume over the last 10 days, essentially. And that's, that's really the short and skinny of what this scan is looking for here. And of course, if we come into the search of this configure, all these single icons, those are your alerts, the different events. Alerts will act independently of each other, codependent with the filters. So these are all the different alerts that you can, pile through as a subscriber. And then you'll finally get to the filters, which are right now. And the filters are indicated by this dual set of icons here for a minimum and maximum value. And you set those minimum and maximum values in this window specific filter. So, so hopefully that all makes sense like that. Last part of the question that you were asking, then we move on. I see Peter asked something, give me 1 second. And then I see Mike, and then another question here as well from you. So the last part of this I wanted to share is the options. So we have our alert windows to scan, then we also have our top list to scan. All right, now top lists are only filters, no alert, no event. So it just goes back and forth to the server every 30 seconds with all the stocks that meet the filters. So this is an option scan that I actually created. What I did is I told this scan to say, I want you to find me stocks that are between $10 and $100. Relative volume's got to be 1. It's a ratio of 10-day average, so 1 is normal. Also, the stock had to trade 1.25 million shares today, and it has to be 75% above the low of the 20-day range. So I want to see stuff that's breaking out over the course of the last 20 days. 20 days is significant to me because that's a month. And then the magic of the options part of this is in the sort, I said, that's great. Find me those stocks. Then I want you to put them from top to bottom based on their options volume percent today. And that's how I want them listed. So the ones that had the biggest options volume today based on 10-day average, I want at the top. The ones that are the smallest amount, I want at the bottom. And that's how I scan. And then, of course, I could, turn around and I can look at any one of these stocks and go into my broker and look for what's going on in there. And we can see some stuff that in this horrendous day today is up pretty nice today, and some serious options volume. Now, generally speaking, options volume will be heavier around earnings or some other kind of event in general, but not always. And it could give you some kind of insight to something that's going on underneath the hood of a stock, just like any kind of volume metric could. So hopefully that all makes sense. I will go ahead and share both those scanners right now for anybody that doesn't have and would like them. Give me 1 second while I look for links to share those. And then Peter, I'll circle to your question and we'll keep moving from there. When I catch up on questions, then I'll also enable the mics in Zoom. All right. Give me 1 second here. I just want to get caught up before I get dragged in any other directions because I am a bit of a scatterbrain in general. Parabolic share. So this is that parabolic scan that I just showed there. Copy. Hold on 1 second, please. Bear with me. Share. Scan that I shared. And generally speaking, I like to keep things a little more on the simple side. We're generating ideas. So, as far as the scanning and the trading that I do, I like quite a bit of ideas generated. I want to go through a lot of charts. If a chart's no good, I'm just zipping right by it. And if chart's good, great. And I'm going to mark it up and do my homework on it and all that stuff like that, because we're trade ideas, we're generating ideas. And that's how I use the software personally. You can always narrow things down by adding more filters and things of that nature. To get it to the specs that you're really specifically looking for, if you are specifically looking for. So let's see. Why market looks so good early and later turn into a bad day because of the tech sell-off. Your question is as good as, is lost on anybody that knows. We had this huge rally yesterday where, I was joking with someone earlier that, we might have limit down today. We got so low. We're only 3% on the SPY from or the S&P technically from, limit down halt on the market. So kind of is what it is. You had this yesterday and you had this yesterday. And if I'm to give you my technical answer on this, look at what the market that we have. We had this nice move up and then something happened in October. The winds changed and we had this move down. And yes, we moved back up and we made another all-time high. But then we had this, sell-off that happened here. And again, we moved back up, couldn't get quite through that all-time high, but, and back down. We made one more new all-time high before the wheels really started getting really coming off and wobbly on us. And that's just the theme. It's max pain theory right now. And a lot of us, myself included, are in the camp that is the market we're going to have till the world resolves itself. And when I say world, GDP is down. You have shipping issues still, supply chain issues, inflation, whether or not the pandemic's still an issue in some areas of the world and some areas not, and people want to argue about all that stuff. And you have social unrest in the world, not just at home social issues, but issues with ESG, and we're trying to save the environment, and then there's war fighting here and a conflict breaks out here, and this global economy in Turkey looks bad with their inflation is this high, and so on and so forth. And so until a lot of these cards start to fall back into a more practical line for global economics, this is what I think we're going to get. And I think we will continue to grind more sideways. I keep waiting for that big capitulation day. I guess you could call today it, but all the same, is today it, after being up like that yesterday, really just kind of handed it back and then some. So, you wipe out this massive move up and we're just kind of down today off of yesterday's lows, and that's it. So being relative to how I'm looking at the chart. So short and skinny, Peter, there is no reason. There was no reason for us to be making new all-time highs given what the world was doing after the pandemic. Most of the world was still shut down. There's no real travel going on for so long, and yet the market continued to scream higher in a V line like that. And I think essentially the roosters have come home. They are crowing, and we're starting to feel a lot of that now. A lot of people have said, and I wouldn't be surprised either, if we came back down and touched pre-pandemic highs again. It doesn't seem unreasonable to me, given the state of everything on this planet. And if we didn't do it, would anybody really be shocked? Not me anyways, so nothing shocks me in the market. There's no real reason to be up. There's no, there are plenty of reasons to be down. And that's the state of the union as far as I'm concerned. So hopefully that kind of answers. I have no real economic picture outlook or anything like that. I'm not an economist, even though I think economists are full of crap anyways. I'm a short-term technical analyst. I like to look at some longer-term analyzations, but right now I think it's very hard to do that in this chop that we're in. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Mike C, happy Thursday, Friday Junior. So is it possible scan for crossover studies? Kind of, sort of, not really. We have some crossovers. Let me show you here, but our crossovers aren't great because they have a built-in algorithm for volume, and it'll cause them to come late while it's waiting for that to get satisfied. So, we have these cross alerts, I think you're looking for SMA cross alerts. We do not have EMAs, period, only as indicators on the charts. There is no EMA scanning abilities at this time. Sorry, just a message coming into me. So that's the short and skinny there. Can you create crossover alerts? Kind of, sort of, yes. What I would suggest to someone do is look at the SMAs that we have as filters, not alerts. All right. So we have all these different SMA filters. All right. And you could, take a couple of SMAs that you wanted, give them filter values so that they're close to each other on a chart, the time frame that you're looking for. And then I would give, you need an alert attached to that. My suggestion is always go with the 5 minute high, or if you're looking for cross down, 5 minute low. So we go 5 minute, and you can see that 5 minute here, 5 minute here. These are the two that I would send you towards, and you can build a de facto one like that. We also have in our Market Explorer technology, there is a crossover alert that is actually an EMA crossover, SMA EMA. So server window, we have this 820 cross on Gapper. So it's looking for an 8 EMA crossing a 20 SMA on a 2 minute chart with stocks that gapped up. If I'm being completely honest, now this was built by a bunch of traders in our trader room that, put these suggestions out there and all that, and they thought it was going to make $1 million, and the scan sucks, in my opinion. I've yet to see anything really great come out of it. Not that I watched it nonstop, but on the days that I watched, I was like, it just finds a lot of stuff that's kind of either chopping this way or, it gapped up and then it reversed. And it's just kind of sitting here like this now. And because the SMAs and the EMA have caught each other, it's getting the alert. So I'm one of those people that used to think crossover alerts, that's it, make $1 million. Crossover alerts are so great. And then I built some crossover scans that, they were absolutely finding crosses the way I wanted them to. And they were absolutely terrible scans. And I just deleted them because it was a huge waste of my time, unfortunately. So that is the short and skinny on crossovers. I mean, you can always send us an email to support@trade-ideas.com. and we can help you get something built. If we have the data points for it, we'll certainly help you build it. That's, what I would direct someone if they're going to be adventurous. You're really trying to get in the software. You want to use it. You want to generate your own ideas. You want to make the scan the way you want. Look up those SMA filters, put a 5 minute high or low, depending on what direction you're going in, and, add your volume metrics or average true range or anything else that you want to add to it and go from there with that. That would be my suggestion on all of that. Going to be choppy. Yep. Market is ridiculous. It just is kind of what it is. Is there a way to freeze similar stock function based on price action? List keeps changing every time I click on a different stock. I'm guessing, Ken, you're talking about topless, and if you are, which I believe you are, no, there's no way to, there's no real way to freeze topless. I've enabled everybody's mic that's in Zoom now, so if anybody wants to jump in and speak, you're more than welcome to. Yeah, I think I got everybody right. Allow her talk. You're good, you're good, you're good, you're good, you're good, you're good, 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 good. So let me know, Ken, if you're speaking as far as alert windows or topless go. Now with alert windows, what you could do is you can come to properties and you can go, there's something in here we can do, right?
Chris, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I meant the single window with the news and the profile, and similar to, let's say on there, it's similar to SPY. Yeah, that's similar to SPY. And when you click on similar to SPY, you can either do, and you right click on that, you can do either per price action or per, what was that, sector? So
right.
Competitor, or price action or competitor. So
right.
Let's say we do price action on that. So I just want to have the list of all similar price action. But when you click on the individual stock, it start changing the list.
Right. No, I know. Yeah, there's no way, unfortunately, to do that. So my workaround suggestion to you would be do this. Go like this. Go right click, duplicate, whether you want to duplicate into the dock or free floating window. And then you'll have, interesting, when I duplicated that, it even gave me, oh, I know why. No, that isn't why. Very interesting. That didn't do at all what I was expecting it to do. It's just going based on TI. Ah, it's very strange. All right, now they're showing the same. That would be my workaround though. That is so strange that it is doing that like that. I don't use that function, and I also know it's not the greatest, unfortunately. All right, now that looks the same. So yeah, I would go with duplicate, and then you could work off of one and just unlink it after you duplicate. All right. So see how it's duplicated and it's linked. So if I click one of these, it's probably going to change here too. So I'd unlink that, come here and unclick symbol linking so that you stay on that one like that, but there's no way to pause it, unfortunately. Sorry to say. So there we go. I think we're all caught up. Bill just got a question. What do you got, Bill? What do you got for me? Can you tell me about the VWAP time of day scan? Someone here shared it with me. I thought Jamie made it, but they say you made it. Yeah, I did that last week. It was an exercise that we did. All I did was, someone, maybe it was even you, wanted a VWAP scanner, and then we started messing around with optimizing it, and that was it. And when we were doing the optimizing, we came across it to say, excuse me, that it worked better at certain times of the day in the back test, and that was all. So like I can take the base strategy here. I'm going to pop out. Doesn't matter which one it is, they pop out because they all have the same filters except for the time of day. So I opened one of these alert windows, and all I did was I took a very basic, created a very basic scanner as an exercise. And so we did break cross above resistance as the alert. And then we added some filters in here. We said got to be above $4, relative volume 1.5, traded 200K shares up from the close. And the distance from VWAP, so it's got to be just slightly above it to not too far above it. So we're looking for stuff kind of hovering around VWAP, and also got to be up from the open. And the only reason I use the time of day filter was because when we did the original back test, which is not going to look at all like this anymore, and I haven't been tracking the scan, so I have no idea really what this scan is, looks like after, days and days of data have compiled. But I think when we ran the original back test, we started with, we opened it up all day, and I think we maybe started with entering stocks not until 9:45 was the original back test. We didn't use any other risk management. We clicked simulate buy. We let it run. And then we found a way to try to kind of cut the fat from this, if you will, using the time of day filter and the optimization of it. So, oops, I've left one key part out. This back test. Sorry, let me rerun that. We want to run it the full data. So we only had it at 30 days. Let's go open it up to the full 64 days. Now let's try that. Look a little different. And you're welcome, Ken. Sorry, I don't have a better answer for you on that. I never like it when I can't give a better answer than what I'm stuck with sometimes. So this is what the back test looks like now. We can see that this is really, a couple of big days is what's making this. It has a few, big days on the downside. Sorry, just checking something here. A message, I'll check. So sorry, Michael was asking, what did I miss that we got this? So on our new dev version, we have the insignias here, the symbols or whatever you want to call it for the companies that'll be coming out soon. Of course, companies update them, and then someone will be like, oh, you didn't update that symbol. Like, yeah, that's why you lost money. It had nothing to do with your trading strategy, but sure. With all that said, so what I did here is, I ran this back test, and what we did on the original VWAP scanner that day is we went to optimization. We went to time of day. We put in, I think, 5-minute intervals. And then we started looking at times of the day where this strategy really was no good. And we started cutting out those times a day using the time of day filter. And that's what we did there, Bill. That was all. Nothing really overly complicated or anything like that. Right. So because it's a multi-strategy window, you want to go right click, don't go to configure all, go to strategies, and then you can configure each individual strategy like that, because there's 3 strategies in here technically. The only difference is the time of day filter in them. That's the only difference. And so what I was illustrating after we'd built the VWAP scanner, what I was illustrating is that you might have a scanner that's giving you 700 alerts in a day, but the alerts from 9:45 to 10:15 are great. And then from 10:15 to noon, they're terrible. And then from, let's say, noon to 12:30, they're great again. And then they're terrible after 12:30 until 3, and they're great again from after 3 o'clock. So you could essentially take that one scanner and use the time of day filter, create 3 scanners with it, and then put them into a multi-window. Yeah, I'll share that with you. So there's nothing special about the scanner, just an FYI, but I'm always happy to share anything that I have. And as I say, please, 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 please always share these, save these to the cloud after you got them from me, because every scanner that I do not use, I eventually go through and delete, and then it'll be gone forever as far as I'm concerned. I like to clean out my cloud. I don't like a lot of garbage in my cloud. So just make sure any scanner you take from me, please save it. So that's the short and skinny of what I did there with that, trying to say, all right, I know from time X to time Z, the alert quality is garbage. So I don't want to see alerts during that time. But I know that this alert window is 3 different times of the day that alerts well. So I'm going to break it. I'm going to take this one alert window, the core one. I'm going to duplicate it a few times and then add the time of day filter to cut out the times that it's no good. And that's what I did here with this essentially. So that's, what this time of day filter was doing. Well, I got rid of it there, but we'll just bring one of these out. Check that, configure. And so you can see what I did here with the time of day filter. All right. And so, like I said, on a multi-window, right click, don't go to configure all, go to strategies, and then, use the arrow there. And always make sure with your multi-window that any strategies you want enabled or checked, watch what I do here. See how I uncheck that? Now that strategy is dead in the water. It won't alert. Now there's a check back in there. It'll alert again. So that's, that's how that works in the multi-window as well. And so then we have this right here, configure, and, we can do whatever we want with it. I can add colors to it and stuff like that. So, I can go colors and add that and all that. So thanks, Mike. See, kind of just hit my brain in the heat of the moment, if you will. So I think kind of caught up on questions here. All right, here we go. Any scan that we could use anchored VWAP function to see the squeeze of the bottom and top anchors. So you're like looking for a VWAP pinch essentially, Ken, like, a VWAP from 5 days ago pinching the VWAP from today or something like that. Is that what you're trying to figure out there? I think that's what you're looking for. Let me know. I'm going to go with no, because you're stuck to the 5 VWAPs that we have. So if we come into configure, we've got search, we go to VWAP. you have just these 5 here. These ones are if you're to give it an actual dollar value, saying, oh, I want to find stocks where the VWAP is $10, for example. This is a distance from it by percent. And so VWAP 1 is today, it's the intraday. 2 is, starting from yesterday. 3, 2 days ago. 4, 4 days, 3 days ago. 5, 4 days ago, essentially. So, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day. And those are the only anchor VWAPs that we feature in scanning. I mean, obviously on a chart, you can anchor the VWAP from wherever you want. Get rid of all this stuff here. We can do, I can come here and I can go, anchor the VWAP from here, for example. And yeah, it'll show up on my chart here like that, but I don't have a way to scan that, unfortunately, to share with you. So again, keep those coming for me here, folks, or, I'll, take this in some sort of direction for us. Let's see, did the SPY close off the lows? Yes. So this is the hilarious stuff to me. If we took out yesterday's ridiculous move up, and I mean, that was ridiculous. And let's say we closed, at that 420, then we're down 6 points today, which is still pretty significant, but, nothing unheard of, for the level that we're at, because we had a ridiculous rip up yesterday. We got a ridiculous rip down today. And that's the way we're in. Yeah, no, if you're going back more than those 5 days, but if you're within those 5 days, you can obviously, you can use those filters and give them values that they'll be, close to each other, essentially, in the distance from the price currently, to find that pinch kind of look that I believe you're looking for. So let's see here. We had another starting out okay day for the AI, and even with that gap down, that didn't pan out well. So MXL, kind of interesting how that ends up taking a turn for the worst at the end of the day. BTTX, that worked out well in max profit territory anyways. I mean, this goes back to, being a trader and why you don't just let a bot do everything. You start to see things like this happening and this move, you got to be getting out. You can't be holding on to something like that, especially in this market. You'd be out of your mind. No way to make money like that. Anyways, that's the AI. Trying to think of what we can entertain ourselves with here if nobody's got questions for me. The other day I was going to build a scan with everybody, and then we started getting some questions and taking in a new direction. I'm peeling out. I have an appointment I have to make. So I'll be peeling out of here in about 15 minutes or so. But let's, if nobody's got any questions, let's build an alert window together. All right, Chris, how do the colors and numbers relate on the change scans? Which scan are you talking about, or just any scan in general? Like, for example, if I were to pull up this top list here, this is just the colors are based on change from close percent. So if I go to properties, select color, you can see I've got a change from close. And so anything, that's -3 or more percent, it's going to be this dark red. -1 to -2 is this kind of lighter color in here. And then, green, white is a neutralish, and green is, the 1 to 3 and above, like that. So that's how that works on a top list. And, if I change, I can change that based on anything. So it essentially has to do with the sorting. So, this is color sorting scheme. And then, I have the displayed sorting. That's this here. See how it's indented, that change from close. So it's displaying, cleanly from highest change from close, like that. Then you have the server sort also configure. So they kind of all relate to each other, sorting. I'm telling it, I want you to bring in the stocks that meet my criteria, and then I want you to sort them based on change from close with the biggest on the top, like that. And so that's how that works in there. Alert windows really don't have much of a color scheme to them that relates exactly, or relates anywhere near the same. Let me find an alert window. So if we go to, it works a little different in here. And you're just looking at, bearish, bullish, and neutral colors, essentially, like that on the actual alert itself. And then you can change the background colors and all that stuff like that. So, pick whatever we want. And you see how I can change the lettering, but there's no significance behind any of this. You can just color code stuff how you want. Within reason, of course, There's nothing bearish here, so it's not going to affect anything. And then color, properties, color. And you got nothing there. There's not a whole lot of data to mess with in this. So, and I could take this, the top list that has more significance again. So watch, if we go, properties, and I come to select colors. So like I said, it's on change from close percent right now, but if I change it to, let's change it to relative volume, for example. I just saw it. There it is. Now see how that changed that? But I don't have relative volume as a column. But watch this. Now when I add relative volume as a column, configure columns, relative volume, going to add that. Okay. And now watch, I'm going to make this all nice and color schematic even, going from top to bottom, just like that. All right. And you can see how that related. They all had some you can't have negative relative volume. So obviously going to be no red in there. Or we could even do, again, mess with this here, colors. We can go with 5-day range, for example. And press OK again. And configure, I'm going to add the 5-day range. Column there. And again, I can get it nice and change 5-day. Where's my 5-day? Configure column. Well, that was change in 5-day. Not 5-day range. Search 5-day range. 5-day range. Show column. Okay. Now we got it. And now we'll get it nice and even again, just like we had before. And I can double click it again. And I can display it the opposite way with the lowest numbers on the top and the highest numbers on the bottom, so on and so forth. Which numbers are you talking about? Are you talking about in this here in the are you talking about these numbers? These numbers relate to it being up or down. So anything, 3% or whatever the value is of the column we're color sorting on. Anything with 3 or more is going to be this dark green. 1 and 2 are going to be these lighter greens in here. And, the same is going to apply to the negative numbers. Okay. Hello, is there a way to see block trades compared to previous day? Nope, no way to see block trades compared to the previous day. What the only thing you could do is run a history on a specific ticker or something like that for yesterday's block trades. But there's no function to say compare yesterday's block trades to today's block trades. All right, no problem. We're still caught up. We got about 9 minutes before I peel on out of here. What am I doing? Getting this out of the way. This out of the way. So file, new alert window. Let's hide these unused. So I'm gonna build something out real quick and go over a thought process behind building out an alert window. So, one of my big ones that I like to try to find is, stocks that made a nice move up, nothing ridiculous or anything, but let's see something that's moved up, and then is pulled back to a certain level and then possibly moving back up again. All right. To give us some kind of entry. And those entries could be, just even if we can get towards the high of the day, and then maybe, even a little bit more. But the idea is, trying to find something that might have a little room to at least there. All right. And so the one alert that I've been going with for building scans like this is this cross above resistance. However, that 5-minute high, I think, is a great one to use too. We can always do that. We'll throw that in here for fun. We'll run them both. All right. And then we can start with the basics of the scanner. In my window specific filter, I have, some default filters that will always be there for me, the way I set up my default windows to start. And so let's start with stuff that's, let's go with $8 as a minimum. We won't put a maximum. Always a big fan of relative volume. Make sure we got something kind of kicking on the relative volume, but not too crazy, Let's go 1.7. That sounds good to me. No, Chris, you're doing an overnighter. Yeah, no overnighter. If you're able to look back in history, why wouldn't you be able to configure a column or a custom? Because we can't do customs with alerts, number one. And two, we can't change timeframes on things. Our customs exist only with short code that's in the system already. So for example, we have no EMAs for building scans with, so I can't just custom code an EMA. It's not a code compiler, that's why. So it has to be something that exists in the system, number one. And number two, it's only filters. A block trade is an alert. So if, coming back here, just real quick, block trades are an alert. They're not a filter. So there's no customizations that we can do with block trades whatsoever. The only thing you can do is put in the minimum of share. If we have the alert, the minimum amount of shares that you're looking for in the block trade, and that's a filter attached to the alert essentially. So unfortunately, that's the way it goes. That's the way the system was coded. That's the way it was built. And that's what I was born into. And there's no way to, have a compare of histories and scans either. You just have to duplicate and have a history on one side and the live scan on the other. Let's make sure we're good in liquid on stocks today. 225,000 shares on the day. Today's not exactly going to be a great day for scanning anything to the long side, to say the least. Let's see. We want to make sure we're up from the open. And then, we want to make sure we're not at the high of the day, right? Because we don't want to see stuff that's at the high of the day. We want to see stuff that's off at the day. Yeah, believe me, Rev, I wish that we had some more customization abilities, and it would be nice if one day we can unleash the Market Explorer to you folks. But as it stands right now, we can't do it. It's just not, it's not in the technology right now to release it upon the entire world. Also, if we did release the Market Explorer, we'd probably have to hire about at least 10 new support people that understand custom coding and filters and things like that on a deep code builder level, because we can't release something and not be able to support it. And, I myself, I can't build indicators. Steve and Andy can't build indicators. The only one that can really do that right now is Michael. And there's absolutely no way that we could have, 500 people sign up and start shooting us emails nonstop about that and be able to support that. It'd be absolutely impossible. So, there's staffing issues, number one. There's technology issues of the servers, that the load that they can handle, number two. And then number three, a cost issue. If we do unleash that, first off, it'll have costed us a lot to update those servers to be able to release it physically, number one, to make it happen. And then number two, we would, need to be able to endure the support cost and pass that along, unfortunately. So, it's a multiple step and multiple strategy for us to get there on the Market Explorer. So back to this, we want to make sure we're off the high of the day and run that time here, position. So we're looking at position and range for the day. Sorry, I want to take something. All right, so position range on the day, I want to add that filter, and we want to make sure we're off that high of the day. So let's say if we're at least 25% off the high of the day, all right? And we're up from the open, but don't want to see that we pull back too much because we don't want to find weak stocks either. So let's say we're also 25% off the lows of the day as well. All right, and so now we have the basis of a scan rate here, essentially. All right, and call off the highs, moving up. And let's just see if we returned anything today. Let's go through the history. Oh, so many things came through that. I was not expecting so many alerts. Let's take a look here. Let's see what we find. PTVE, what do you look like? So we get the alert here. All right, so we found what we wanted, just never kept moving up. Unfortunately, ran into resistance. So we're off the high. We're moving up. Unfortunately, we didn't keep moving up, but doing what we asked it to. All right, same thing here. Let's see, lift. Yeah, same thing here. But again, we didn't exactly have a market on our side for doing this. HDSN. Yeah, this one kept going. So, all right. So we found a little alpha with that one. And remember, we're looking at this in the middle of the afternoon too, not exactly prime, what I'd consider prime trading hours. Thank you, Mike C. Thank you. Thank you. So, so that's that. All right, I'm going to share this out. I do got to hit the road here, folks. So if anybody wants this, here's a template of building stuff that's off the highs of the day and trying to recover. So there we go there. I do thank you all kindly for popping in, and we will end the week just on YouTube tomorrow. So hopefully I will see you all there and then, and we'll hopefully get a nice rounded out week that looks that's looking pretty good. All right, to to close us out decently. So all right, thank you folks for popping in, and we will catch you tomorrow. Take care.